Hi, this is Irina Shea, and this is part of our Wealth and Wisdom video series. Today, we're going to talk about can I disinherit my children? This is a very sensitive subject, and parents are very distraught when they even have to consider this, but we're going to go over some ideas um, in this video. So let's talk about it. Okay, so why would you disinherit a child? Very often it's an adult estrangement. That means that your son or daughter hasn't spoken to you in a decade, they've disappeared. Their spouse has been controlling and keeps them away from you and you away from your child and grandchildren. Unfortunately, this is not an uncommon dynamic. Unfortunately, I've practiced for 30 years and I've seen a rise in these types of adult estrangements. So they're increasing, not decreasing. So what do you do about that? One is a full disinheritance if there's been a complete break, but this is very harsh. And I would caution people to really think this through, discuss it with the other adult children, particularly your executor who's going to be in the hot seat someday to have to explain this. If you go the route of a full disinheritance, you absolutely need a no contest clause in your will or trust. You'd be best advised to use a funded revocable living trust, not just a will. And also to do repeat signings. What do I mean by that? You sign the same estate plan every other year just to create a domino effect if it's challenged. Okay. So you're really setting up sort of barriers to challenge. A less harsh way is to consider a reduced share. So maybe the adult child doesn't get, one third, they get instead, I don't know, 10%. And each of their two children get, 10%, for example, right? You do some sort of slicing and splitting so that that branch that would have gotten a third to that individual child, they get some, their kids, meaning your grandchildren get some, or some variation on this. So it's feels more fair to you and it's less subject to a contest later. Another way is to use a trust for that child. So let's just say there's a problem with the child. They have mental health issues, addiction issues, or something else, and they've been MIA, missing in action in your life. They're really not in a good place. You could consider leaving a trust for that child, their share in trust with a trustee. So you're not disinheriting them, but you are leaving a structured inheritance. So even though maybe they're not in your life, you want to know that they have a roof over their head, or other basics, if needed. So, and the other is consider leaving grandchildren their parents share. This is also tricky. I'm not saying this is a good idea. It depends on the family dynamic, but let's just say you're out of touch with that one child, but they have their own children who've done nothing wrong. Skip the parent, go straight to those grandchildren. So if it's one third to a child that you're no longer in contact with, but they have two children, leave the third to those two grandchildren instead. Okay, there's always ways to do sort of workarounds. And again, they can be revisited on future checkups. It gets very, very tricky. In any case, discuss with the adult sibling, right? Who's going to be your executor trustee, because that lead child is going to be in the hot seat when you're gone trying to explain this or defend a will contest. Okay. Not a happy place to be. Give them the heads up, get their input. Is this something you're prepared to do? If it gets really contentious, consider naming a bank trustee. Have these discussions. Okay. So those are just some thoughts on disinheriting a child. If you'd like to learn more, you can go to our website at irinashea.com, click the Get Started tab, and there are no charges for our initial consultations. Thank you.